Hey, what's up everyone? It's Sierra and welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a great week. Today we are building a small modern home in the world of WillowCreek, which came with the base game. As you can tell, the outside is pretty basic for the most part as we start out. It's going to be pretty much just black and white. I did add quite a bit of flower beds through here. You'll be able to see that later on, but right now I did make this like a darker charcoal color. I initially did want it to be kind of darker, but then I was kind of thinking I planned on using like the darker floors and darker cabinets inside, so end up kind of switching that out. And as you guys can see, I end up making the house just a little bit smaller. I didn't want it to be so big, and I wanted to have somewhat of a backyard, nothing too crazy. The girl I imagine living here kind of works a lot, and she doesn't have a lot of time to maintain a yard. So I just wanted to give her like a couple gardens and stuff back there, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But as you can see, I wanted to use the eco lifestyle windows. I really like those for when I'm doing modern builds. It's always like my go-to. For some reason, I feel like they just look the best when I'm doing stuff like this. And I did use some platforms, as you guys can see, for like instead of using roofing, I threw in some platforms and some of those like little half walls as well. And that front door, if you guys were kind of wondering where that came from, I'm pretty sure it's the Get Famous pack. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. And if it's you guys cannot tell already, we're getting into the first garden that I decided to put in. Putting in gardens is one of my favorite things to do, especially when I'm building houses. Sometimes I can go a little overboard, so I made sure to kind of, keep it minimal. I use some of my favorite plants that I like to use. I love using that lavender in the front. Wherever I can throw it in, I put it in. And with the trees too, I try to keep them as similar to what is going on in the world like around me. I try to match everything kind of, so it doesn't seem like so out of place. I know this is a modern home in WillowCreek, so it is going to look a little out of place. You can obviously put it like wherever you want. But I thought it would look pretty cute here. I have built a house on here before that was like more of like a modern small home, almost like a tiny home. And I thought, you know what, why don't I make something that's still modern like I love to do, but make it just like slightly bigger in a sense. And then I kind of wanted to add a little bit more to the front where you first walk in. I didn't know if I wanted to put like an awning or if I just wanted to add some string lights. But I end up using that little, I don't know what this is. It came with high school years. It's that little thing your teens can sneak out of their window. But I did not use the window because I was just putting it for looks. But anyway, getting into the build, I decided to hop on in to the upstairs first because it is like the smallest space, and I already knew kind of like the layout I wanted for it already. I did use the darker floor colors. As you can see, I love that chocolate colored flooring that came with Island Living. And then I just kind of used like a modern staircase, and I really wanted this to be like open floor, and like an open floor plan, I guess you can say, because it is kind of narrow, but it is long. So I wanted to utilize as much of this space as possible. So I did use like one half wall, or not a half wall, one like wall to kind of like break up this space a little bit. And I wanted to use like darker cabinets like I said earlier. So I used that darker green, and then I used to use that color from the high school pack with that tile. I love that kind of like, it's like kind of like a gold color, I think, or at least it looks gold to me. And I used the Dream Home Decorator, the countertops, and the stove as well. I really love that green color. I never really used to be too like big of a fan of green, but I have really gotten to love the color more, especially with builds. I've been using more greens, and I've been trying to use a little less gray. I love using like gray and blue, so I kind of like, I'm switching it up a little bit in here. We did use some like lighter colors. I try to keep the clutter in the kitchen kind of minimal because you need at least one countertop to cook on, and sometimes I forget that and I have to pull back a little bit. But obviously I use this like little shelving that I love to use. That thing is so cute, and sometimes whenever I have like extra time, I'll throw like extra clutter on top of that shelf using, you can control 9 or control 0 to move things like up and down when you're building. And also alt placing things really helps. If you guys did not know that, you can alt place anything, move it around to however you desire. If you guys were wondering kind of like how we do that kind of stuff, as I'm doing it with the couch right now to kind of just get it like off the grid. But I did use some of like the stuff from the high school pack. I did use some custom content as well. I love that fireplace from Eco Lifestyle. It is one of my favorites to use in the smaller builds. It doesn't take up too much space, but it kind of just gives it some character. At least I think it gives it some character that it really needs. And I did build a built-in bookshelf, which is one of my specialties. If you guys haven't noticed by now, I do these bookshelves a lot. I just prefer them. I know we've gotten some bookshelves with like Dream Home Decorator and all those other packs, but I don't know. It's just something about the homemade like shelving units, bookshelf unit that I made that I just love. I just prefer to build them. I don't know. Call me crazy, but it's just what I prefer. And I wanted to keep like this little area over here to the left open from that shelving unit because I wanted to put in some plants. And I really didn't know if I was going to put any like hanging plants or anything through here, because I did use like medium height walls, and when you try to use the hanging plants just kind of like throughout the build, it kind of sits up. At least for me, it kind of sits up too high. So I just personally don't like the way it ends up looking. But I used basically everything in the clutter kit that we got in this build. I just went crazy with it. I told you guys at one point I would utilize this kit in a build, and this is the build that I utilized it in. And I had so much fun. I did use, like I said, a lot of Dream Home Decorator. I love Eco Lifestyle. That is one of my favorite game packs that we got, is Eco Lifestyle. I just love some like the colors and the textures for like the walls and stuff that they have given us, like the metals and everything. And I think that is just so cool. I love that we got like things to like build shipping containers. It's so unique. And I just fell in love with the pack when it came out. But as you guys can see right now, I'm going in and kind of putting in some plants. I used that little table for the Blooming Rooms kit. I ended up switching these plants out shortly. I kind of wanted to use the plants from the Blooming Rooms kit, But then I decided not to, and I went in with some custom content plants instead. I mean, like I said in a million of my videos already, I prefer to use custom content plants. I just think they're so pretty, and I don't know, they just have more like vibrance to them, at least I think. And through back here, I kind of put in a little door to get to the backyard, and I just threw up like 2 little custom content paintings. They're kind of like a yellowish color, just something too crazy. And then I just like threw in a rug. I wanted to keep it very simple back there because that area is so like small and tight. I didn't want to clutter it up too much. And then I messed around with the living room for quite a while, mainly because the coffee table I was struggling with. It is such a small area, and I wanted something like round, but you guys will see, we'll hop back down in. I kind of like gave up for a minute, and I did the bathroom, so I'm like, okay, that's always super easy to do. Let me just hop into the bathroom really quick, do that, and kind of get the bedroom done since I knew what I wanted the upstairs to look like already. I wanted to use that wallpaper that I have is custom content. I never use wallpaper. I've used it twice already, and I have used that specific wallpaper. I absolutely love it. This is what made me just want to embrace it completely. So as you can see, I used it through the entire build, and I kind of mess with like the height of the flooring with the upstairs. I kind of put it on like a little bit of a platform, but not really. In the rug situation, I didn't know if I wanted it besides the bed or underneath it because of where I ended up putting the dresser. And I just ended up putting it underneath, and I used a gray custom content rug. I didn't want anything with too much patterns going on in here because of the wallpaper being so active. And I wanted to use like some lighter colors because those floors are really dark. And of course, I used the dark columns. But like I said, we are back down into the living room. I used a bunch of custom content pillows and a throw blanket. I really went back and forth. I didn't want too many textures and too many patterns going on because it can clash very easily. I changed so many of the colors of the rugs and everything around. And that chair I switched out probably about a bajillion times, to be honest. I ended up throwing just a simple little white sitting chair, and then I ended up putting some more of the throw pillows up. And then for like the desk area, like office area, I guess you can call it, I just kind of made it like a little nook. I didn't want it to be anything like too crazy since this is like a smaller home. So I wanted to just put in like some clutter items. I didn't know what computer I wanted to use. I wanted to use one from the high school pack, but they seemed just like too big in the area. I don't know if that makes sense. Like with all the clutter and everything behind it, it just took up too much space, and you really couldn't see all the clutter on the desk that I put there. So I ended up using one from City Living, which is kind of like one of my favorite go-to computers. I almost used the one from the Pastel Pop Kit, but I ended up not using it, as you guys can tell. I ended up putting in some like workout gear, and I really utilized that clutter kit like I promised you guys. I promised you guys that I would. And then I kind of just went through, I put some columns through the front because it was looking just kind of plain. Even though with all that we had put in there, I wanted just a little extra pop. I guess kind of, if that makes sense. And then I just wanted a gate. I just wanted a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more like garden area. If I always use the same plants, so you guys will learn that these are my go-to plants all the time. I love the low-lying white plants, and the lavender is my absolute favorite. It just brings so much color, and it's so kind of just realistic looking. Absolutely love it. I don't know. I just love it so much. But anyway, I wanted to give her I wanted to give her a car and do like a little carport area, but then I was like, why not just give her a bike? She lives in WillowCreek. Let's just have her bike around for like exercise and stuff, because I gave her all that workout equipment too. So, and then I wanted to give her some planters in the back. I don't think she's like too big on gardening. I would assume she has someone to come take care of her plants for her. I don't see her going back there on the weekends and getting her hands dirty taking care of these plants. She's hiring someone to do it for herself. There's no way. But I did use this cute little plant from the Blooming Rooms kit. I sized it down quite a bit actually, but I will put this on the gallery for everyone to download. Please use the filter to include custom content. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I am live 4 nights a week on Twitch. Come on by, say hi, and chill out with us. I hope everyone has an amazing day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.